Okay, so this video, we're going to take a look at the contract because, it's very important that before you start any business venture, that you understand the contract. So let's go over the contract. So basically, this is going to be a contract between TVC Marketing Associates and yourself. Um, Basically, it states in order for you to be in this business, you have to be a legal age to enter into a contract in the state in which you reside and that of the state of Oklahoma, where the contract is going to be accepted at. Uh, um, you're only going to be considered an associate if TVC accepts the contract. And you have to understand they are under no obligation to accept this application. Uh, but if they do accept you as an associate, then you're going to have the right to sell the services that we previously talked about in the previous video. Let's see. You have had to carefully review the marketing plan. So it looks like that's going to be a separate video, the marketing plan. Um, you're entitled to cancel participation as an associate at any time upon notice to TVC. Um, they're saying that your sponsor and associate or TVC may repurchase sales materials in accordance to the policies. Um, it says that you're going to be considered an independent contractor and you're going to be responsible for your own business. You're not going to be an employee of TVC, and you're going to remain as an independent contractor. You receive no salary from TVC, and you should have no power of authority other than expressly granted by them. As we talked about in the previous video, you're responsible for paying your any self-employment, local, state, and federal income taxes as required by law, and to provide workers' compensation or any other insurance as required by law. Again, you have to consider your taxes, your tax consequences. Again, because you're going to be an independent contractor, TVC, they're not going to withhold any taxes from your compensation. It says upon acceptance of your contract, you'll be an independent marketing representative, establishing and servicing sales of TVC services. Um, the contract does not mean that you have a franchise or a distributorship. Again, you're an independent contractor. And again, they're just reiterating that there is no employer employee agency partnership or joint venture between you, your sponsor and associate, or TVC. Again, you are an independent contractor. It says you will not use TVC trade names and trademarks except in advertising provided by TVC unless there's prior written approval of TVC. Uh, it says if you sponsor other associates, um, you have the responsibility to provide necessary training and assistance to associates sponsored by them. Determination of who is a sponsor and associate for any associate shall be at all times in the sole discretion of TVC. So if you're sponsoring anyone, it's your responsibility to provide the training. Is built upon the TVC program is built upon retail sales to the ultimate consumer. It says the associate should maintain all licenses and or registrations as required by any applicable authority for associate activities as an associate. Um, it says any and all membership sold by associate along with all members shall always be and shall remain the property of TVC. So you need to check to see if you have if you're required to hold any licenses in your particular state or county in which you do business. Um, what else? It says prior written approval from TVC is required for the following to advertise their product or services. For an associate to transfer or sign an associate agreement. It says any transfer of associates earned or vested commissions must be approved in advance by TVC, and TVC is not required to approve any transfer. Basically says TVC retains the right of first refusal to purchase such for the lesser value of fair market value of such of the terms upon which the associate desires to transfer or such sales. Also agrees that you will not solicit any business from any competitor of TVC during the existence of the agreement. Says you will not solicit members of TVC for a period of 1 year after termination of this agreement. It also states you agree not to induce or attempt to induce directly or indirectly the lapse, cancellation, or non-renewal of TVC members during their membership period or for a period of 1 year after the expiration of such TVC memberships. Any TVC members that you sign up, you agree to not divulge their names, keep their names private. Do not make members who you sign up public. Also states you will not make any derogatory comments, statements, or communications in any form regarding TVC, its employees, representatives, agents, or its products and programs. It says basically any other agreements between you and TVC will not be valid unless it's in writing. Basically says if you have any problems, any legal problems, any claims against a company, that they must be brought in Oklahoma County Court in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, or in the U.S. District Court, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Base says if you will give notice, it should be made in writing and personally delivered on or the third business day following deposit of U.S. mail. So basically tells you how to give notice. Basically, standard if any provisions of the contract are illegal or unenforceable in whole or in part for whatever reason, the remaining provisions of the contract shall nevertheless be deemed valid and binding. basically it says TVC should be entitled to injunctive relief and or a decree of for specific performance and such other, including money damages. So basically a breach of any obligations. So if you cause any harm or damage to the company, or any performance, including monetary damages, any what is this unique character that give them particular any associates obligations and agreements hereunder are of a unique character that give them particular value. Breach of any of such obligations may result in irreparable harm and continuing damage to TVC, of which there will be no adequate remedy at law, and in such an event, and in the event of such breach, TVC shall be entitled to injunctive relief and or decree for specific performance and such other and further relief as may be proper, including monetary damages if appropriate. Um, basically, if you're causing the company harm, they may get an injunction against you and they may seek monetary damages from you. It says, should any litigation be commenced between, you as an associate of TVC, which litigation concerns any provision of this agreement or the rights or duties, basically, if you take them to court and you lose, you may be responsible for their attorney fees, costs, and all expenses related to, you know, um, the suit against them. And it basically ends, this agreement supersedes and invalidates any and all previous agreements, either oral or written, between the associate and TVC. So um, this is the agreement. So that's basically the contract. You probably, read other contracts before, and nothing really stands out as, different from any other contracts that you have probably signed. So continuing on, um, policies and procedures. So the associate, let's talk about the associate. So associate is someone who has completed the agreement and has been accepted by the company. So they consider you an associate. Again, you must be the proper age in the state. Says the company will consider each married couple a single associate. So husbands and wives may not sponsor each other directly or indirectly or have different sponsors. So if you're married, you're considered as one associate. You cannot sponsor each other. Again, you're not purchasing a franchise or distributorship. And, as an associate, you have no right to bind the company to any obligation. Again, you are an independent contractor. So basically, if you wish to sign this agreement or change its name, you must obtain written consent from the company. It says, in the event the company approves an entity as an associate, thus the associate should be required to provide the company with information regarding ownership and control of such entity. Says you may be a partnership or a corporation, so you can sign up as an individual, sole proprietorship. You can sign up as a partner, limited LLC, partnership, or corporation. They all may be an associate. It says if you conduct your business, associate shall safeguard and promote the reputation reputation of the products of the company and should avoid all misleading and unethical practices. So, run your company in an ethical manner. Um, it says upon death or incapacity of an associate, the agreement may be assigned or transferred to his or her heirs' interest upon written approval of the company. It says you may cancel at any time for any reason by notice from the party desiring to cancel. Um, Taxes and licensing. Again, as an associate, you shall comply with all federal, state, and local rules and regulations governing Nassau Company products. Again, like I said, you're going to be responsible for paying your local, state, federal, and any other taxes and or assessments due, any earnings generated as an associate. And on or before January the 31st of each year, um, you, TVC, the company, they're going to provide you with a 1099 miscellaneous internal revenue service form. So again, as an independent contractors usually get a 1099 miscellaneous, and you're going to have to file that form with the IRS. But you shouldn't wait until the end of the year to file your taxes. You should try to file your taxes quarterly, which will be every 3 months. Sponsors and recruiting. The company requires that all associates must be sponsored by another associate. So long as they are not in breach of the agreement and policies, all associates have the right to sponsor others to be associates. Every associate has the right to choose his or her sponsor. If two associates should claim to be the sponsor of the same associate, the company, TVC, shall regard the first application received by the company's home office as controlling. Uh, Says all sponsors must fulfill the obligation of performing a bona fide supervisory, distributing and selling function and sale of services by the associate to the ultimate consumer and the training of those associate sponsors. Sponsors must have ongoing contact, communication, and management supervision with his/her sponsor associate. Failure to fulfill these obligations will result in termination of the associate's position as a sponsor. So, if you're sponsoring a lot of people, you need to stay in touch with them, stay in contact with them, communicate with them, and provide supervision. Again, transfer of sponsorship must be approved in writing and at the sole discretion of the company. Transfers can be approved in the following circumstances only. In the case of unethical conduct by the original sponsor as determined by the company, or termination of the associate of the agreement for a period of 3 months and thereafter entering into an agreement which is accepted by the company. We're almost done. Let's talk about marketing. It says associate is upon certain terms and conditions entitled to royalty overrides and various bonuses as outlined in the company marketing plans. The company marketing plans may be amended and changed by the company from time to time. No product purchased by the associate is required. Data processing fees will be deducted from earned commissions and bonuses. Associates may sell memberships and earn commissions on sales. So that's how you're making your money. Income endorsement approval claims. Neither sponsors nor associates are to make false or misleading income projections to prospective associates or others. Federal and state regulatory agencies generally do not approve nor endorse direct selling programs. Therefore, associates may not represent that the company program has been approved or endorsed by any governmental agency. The company reserves the right to alter or amend wholesale membership prices. These policies and procedures, product and product availability. Says the company programs are built upon retail sales to the ultimate consumer. If two associates should claim to have sold the same member, um, the company shall regard the first commissionable and processable application received by the company as controlling. Advertising and promotion. Associates should not advertise company memberships and/or marketing plans except as specifically approved by the company. Associates should make no false or fraudulent representation about the company, the memberships, the company compensation plans, or income potentials. So, cannot make any false or fraudulent representation about income potentials. Says a company may only use official company literature in promoting the company. Associates should not reproduce company literature and or sales aids, nor use the company's trademarks or logo without express written permission by the company. Business cards and stationery must be approved by the company in writing in advance. All advertising approvals must be in writing. Says any reference the associate makes to him herself must clearly set forth the associate's independent status. For example, if you have a business telephone number, you cannot the telephone number cannot be listed under TVC marketing or any other manner which does not disclose the independent contractor status of the associate. The use of the company name or copyright materials may not be made with automatic call-in devices or boiler room operations either to solicit associates or retail consumers. Any inquiries by the media are to be referred immediately to the company. Let's talk about termination. If an associate elects not to renew his or her agreement, all rights to bonuses, marketing, position, and wholesale purchases cease. A terminated associate sales organization shall be transferred to his or her sponsor. If a terminated associate has purchased supplies for inventory purposes while the agreement was in effect, all supplies in a reusable condition then in possession of the associate which have been purchased within 45 days of cancellation shall be repurchased by the company at cost upon return to the company. It says the company reserves the right to terminate any agreement at any time. When the decision is made to terminate an agreement, the company will inform the associate in writing that the associate is terminated immediately effective as of the date of the written notification. Waiver. The company never gives up its right to insist on compliance with the agreement, the company marketing program, and these policies and procedures. This is true in all cases, but specifically expressed and implied unless an officer of the company who is authorized to bind the company specifies in writing that the company waives any of these provisions. The provision deals with the concept of waiver, and the parties agree that the company does not waive any of its rights under any circumstances short of the written confirmation provided for above. Governing law, again, we know it's going to be in the state of Oklahoma. And if any provisions of these policies and procedures shall be or become illegal or unenforceable in whole or any part for any reason whatsoever, the remaining provisions shall nevertheless be deemed valid and binding. So, that's the contract. That's the contract that you will be signing with TVC Marketing Associates Inc. Some important points. Again, you're going to be an independent contractor, and they do have a marketing plan that you must follow. You must use their marketing promotional materials and anything that any ideals you come up with about additional marketing, you must get approval with the company.